Hello YouTube friends, Dr. Teresa here. Well, if you have kept goldfish, you know how hard it is to keep live plants in the aquarium. They just gnaw on them until they disintegrate them. So I'm trying an experiment. I acquired some driftwood and I'm going to attach plants to it. I got 6 pieces. And I'm going to have to treat it before I can put it in the aquarium. 1, to get the tannins out, and 2, to make sure that it doesn't float as it does right now. So I put it in a crock pot on high, and for about 4 hours I let it cook more or less, and you can see, look how dark that water is. So I definitely wanted to get all of that out and not introduce that to the aquarium. So it was a cycle. I put the wood back under some clean water, and a few more hours later I continued to cook it. And this process actually took me 3 or 4 days, a process of emptying out the water full of tannins, filling it with fresh, clean water. If you notice, each time that I empty the water and cook it, it does seem to lessen intensity with the tannins in there. So you have to be patient. But eventually it gets to the point where the tannins really stop coming out, and I just let the wood soak in water, didn't heat it anymore, but maybe gave it another day in some clean water. And by that time the wood was soaked well enough that it was no longer floating. So I ordered some plants. I got some that came with it that were free, that were sort of like a viney fern. I don't know what kind it was. I actually was interested in the Anubias because I know those are hardier and they have more of a waxy leaf that are a little harder for goldfish to maul. And what I'm doing is I'm taking the plants and I'm attaching them to the driftwood using some plastic strip ties and trying to fasten everything until the root system can get going and start developing and establishing itself on the wood. So I ended up doing this process for all of the plants using all 6 pieces of wood, and I got that those ties on all of them to secure the plants, and I added them to the aquarium. But believe it or not, the goldfish gnawed at the plants so much that some of the twist ties didn't really keep the plants secure. I had to go back in and use rubber bands to hold some of the plants on. And I didn't really mind doing that. I know the rubber bands will eventually disintegrate and deteriorate, but by that time the roots will start to establish on the wood. It was actually several weeks after I had put the wood in the aquarium that the Anubias started to grow new leaves. So that means they're rooting on the wood, which I'm really happy about. So really, I have some live plants growing in my goldfish tank, and yes, the goldfish do gnaw on them, but they are surviving. Maybe not so much the decorative fern ones, but the Anubias are doing great. So I'm really thrilled with how this turned out. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. Hope to see you next time. Take care.